Hey, welcome to Total Schmidt Show. How you doing? I'm back at sea. Here's what you're gonna get from this show. It's kind of like quarantine comedy, except I'm not gonna be home. Actually, it's kind of like quarantine comedy and a combination of all the stuff I've done online over the last year or so. There's sketch stuff, live stuff, stand-up stuff, travel stuff, and of course, conversations with others who do the same things that I do on a daily basis. That's it. That's the whole show. And I'm gonna record it all and put it on the intraweb. Sometimes. Usually late. Always late. Maybe, I don't know. And weekly? Maybe. Sort of. Could be. Either way, sit back. I hope you enjoy whatever the hell it is I put together for this week on Total Schmidt Show. And then we'll just start with last night, dude. Last night's show. I mentioned that was the funniest I've seen you in forever. You were on. Like you didn't miss a click at all, man. It's dynamite.
It was yeah, man. Are we going already?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
we're going.
No, it's great to be back, man. You know, after so long, it was 18 months, and you know, on land you only do like a couple of shows here and there, right? So you really don't get all your sets ready. You know, we were now coming back to doing 5 shows is great, but last night I was like, you know, I was ready. I mean, I had to. You guys set the tone at the beginning of the week, so it was great. It was great. So you got to deliver, right? So you know.
Yeah, dude. Because there's, you know, it's like you got to. Anytime there's 4 comics, they see 4 comics.
Right, and then you know, if you're at the beginning of the week, you set that tone, and that's what you guys did. And I was like, oh man, you know, I got to deliver, and it was great. And you know, as I watched, you know, as I'm back in, you know, in getting into the rhythm, you know, you start remembering all the segues and all the bits that you forgot.
Yeah.
And last night I had gone over my stuff, and you know, and it was a great crowd when I improvised and stuff. It was.
Yeah, dude, it was, and obviously you said there was a set. Some of that stuff was you've been doing on land, like you did some of that set on land before.
Yeah.
And we mentioned this too before. It's funny once you start going. After you get 3, 4, 5 shows under your belt, a week or two, then tags start coming back.
Right,
jokes start coming back, and lines.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, this stuff is there, and you start pulling it out. Yeah.
And you know, the audience is here, ready to laugh. They haven't been on vacation also for a long time.
Dude,
so,
plus Cosimo's always a good day, I think.
Yeah, it is. It was. And that we left early enough for people not to be overly drunk.
Hammered. Yeah, right. Yeah. Usually, if you're back on board is at 9.
Right.
That 10 o'clock show is kind of a
nightmare. I've been on the other ships where you live when we take off really late.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you have like an 11 o'clock show and the ship's setting sail at 10:30. And you're like, oh my God, you got everybody who's.
It's going to be a fist fight.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I mean, with me, I don't mind because, you know, if they heckle me, but there's a lot of the guys that they're structured. Yeah. And they get totally thrown off by that, you know. But with me, I'm like, come on, bring it on.
Yeah, right.
But sometimes it just gets out of control to a point where you can't control the crowds like that. But,
yeah, sometimes it's too much.
But last night it was, you know, they're nice. They're an older crowd.
Yeah, that helps too, dude. It's a good vibe of people right now.
And I had the lady, I had what was the lady? Woody. I think that she was the lady who is the president of the kids. You know, the beauty pageant.
Yeah, right.
And like at first she said she does nothing, then he takes like all this time to explain it. I had a great time with it. And I go, are you the one that got Honey Boo Boo started? The whole crowd went crazy. You know, like,
are you the one we're blaming for Honey Boo Boo? Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah, but it's great. And I've been watching that show, which is, you know, I feel sorry for the kid.
The old like version or the new one?
No, it's called Mama's Way to Redemption or something like that.
Yeah.
And then she's been, you know, like with a lot of drug problems. And this kid is like 15 years old.
Yeah.
And, you know, they try to make her a stand-up comedian, all this bunch of stuff.
Really?
Yeah, so she suffered. She's going through all these growing pains. She can't have a boyfriend. She can't.
You think? Yeah, it's a lot of pressure to a 15-year-old kid. You know what I mean?
And then her sister, which is like 21 years old, has a kid. She's pregnant again, and that stuff. And she's raising her sister.
Right.
You know, it's a real complicated life, and she's always on camera. You know?
Right.
She's going through her depression. So I feel sorry for her. Now I used to watch it to kind of laugh at it. And now I'm like, oh, man, what is this poor girl going through this week, you know?
Why do they keep bringing her back on TV, though? That's what I'm like, at some point, shouldn't somebody get involved
and her mom spent all the money. Like,
yes.
Yeah. So now they're like super. I guess they have to have a show in order for them to.
Well, it's always the show's always being reinvented.
But I love Sugar Bear. Is her dad?
Is that the dad?
And he's whipped by
the mom, right?
No, by his wife, who's like. It's just that's the funny part of the show.
Right.
But everything else, So, but I can't wait for next season.
Dude, that was like a promo. That should be a promo for the show.
I don't get too much into reality shows and stuff. But
dude, that's a reality show.
Yeah,
dude, I'm amazed.
You cannot get any better
dude?
than that.
All these reality shows, they put a camera in some crazy white trash house and just watch chaos break out. You know what I mean?
It's like that they have the housewives here, the
Yeah,
housewives.
yeah.
To me, it's just a bunch of drunk women just getting into fights.
I can't stand
But this
the
one
housewives
is,
shows.
so I don't watch any of that.
My daughters used to watch Dance Moms.
Oh,
You know what that
that's
is?
what I was asking her. If she, sorry man, because I sweat. If
Yeah.
I'm going to explode.
No, just please sweat. You're dripping on my floor.
So, but yeah, those are Naked and Afraid is another one that I love.
Dude, that's
crazy.
insane. Yeah, that is crazy.
I love the guys who are like, oh, I'm ready to do this. There's no way they're gonna take me out unless something happens to me. I'm this, and then they get there, and on the first day, there was this Colombian guy. He's a Marine, right?
Right,
He's
right.
a Marine,
Right.
And he's all tough. No, I'm gonna, I'm gonna be this, and I'm gonna help the girl. That on the first night, there's mosquitoes. They couldn't start the fire, right? And he's like, it's 3 o'clock. And they give him a camera, right? So he's like, 3 o'clock. And I'm like, my state of mind. I don't care what people think about me, but I'm leaving. And the other lady's like, dude, it's our first night. No, I gotta go. And I'm like, dude, you were black. I'm Colombian, dude. He did not do good for us.
Yeah. Dude, you made us look terrible.
In my.
You're mad watching. You're going, come on, man up a little bit,
I
will you?
watched every single episode of that, right? And then the one that's most famous is the lady, the vag lady.
What's the vag lady?
She got eaten alive by mosquitoes on her vag.
No, really?
And she's like, I can take anything, but I've never thought I had mosquitoes would eat my vag raw. And I'm like, wow, you can eat my mosquitoes raw. So she left, right?
Right.
And so I had to come back because everywhere I go, they recognize me as the
Oh,
vag
dude,
lady.
that would be so embarrassing to be known as the vag lady. I have a non-fat latte for vag lady. It's wrong. No, it's not fat. I'm sorry. Like you're a vag lady.
That is it. But it's just hilarious, man. I mean, during the pandemic, we didn't have. I ran out of stuff to watch.
Yeah.
Like I've done. I watched all the episodes of Friends again, like
Yeah,
all the
right.
great series, right? And then I
Right.
compare them to what we have now, and I'm like, wow.
Right.
Everybody loves Raymond, all that stuff.
My
And
God.
I was watching your shows too every week, And I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah, right.
I'm gonna go under another name so he doesn't know I'm watching it.
Someone make a comment. I go, who is that?
In all honesty, you did, like I see now how, how you do all the production and stuff, but you did take the time to create a good show. You even did a little bit of, you previewed what my career was and all that.
Yeah.
And it was great to do
Yeah.
it. I mean, I did a couple of others, but nowhere as ready. Sometimes
Thank you, man.
oh,
Well,
sorry,
yours is still up too,
sorry,
man.
the sound is not working, and I don't know why you look so yellow today.
Yeah. But I went through all that crap too.
Yeah,
dude. I
yeah.
had a bunch where I tell this story all the time. DeCrosta used to watch all the time because he would wait for something to go wrong. Like the first 3 months, something went wrong every episode. And one of the reasons I streamed live so that people could get comments was that people were walking me through the production, dude.
Oh,
People
cool.
were like, "Dude, there's a sign behind you. Take the sign down." Or no, all what I did a lot was no. I wouldn't forget to turn the sound on. No sound.
Yeah,
I go,
yeah.
my bad. I go, thanks guys, thanks a lot, I
And
appreciate
then
it.
and people kept on going, when are you going to do a Zoom comedy show? Never. Everybody, it's so weird being married to someone that's so much younger than you, because especially when it comes to having kids, right? When I had in the old days, we had 3 daughters, not me, my wife, had 3 daughters, and they're 44, 34, and 31. And in the old days, do you have any kids, sir? No? Okay, in the old days, we didn't have to go into the delivery room. In the old days, we waited outside for the stork to arrive, and that was your job. This last time when my son was born, shit, man. I got tricked into being a coach. Man, I was all excited. I bought a hat. I had a whistle. But he's not the same kind of coach, sir. And I was on the road, right? And as I mentioned before, my wife was in New Zealand and I had to get home. And I got home one night before she gave birth, so I never got to take any lessons or anything. So she goes into labor, and we get to the hospital, and over there, the midwife is the one that delivers the babies, and she goes, Mr. Solano, where do you want to coach from? You want to coach from the front, or you want to coach from the back? I'm like, I want to coach from the sidelines. She goes, no, Mr. Solano, I'm going to show you something easy. My job, sir, was very easy, was to hold her hand. And all I had to do was this. And she kept on screaming and yelling. All of a sudden, she goes, oh, shit. I go, babe, does it hurt? She goes, fuck yeah, it hurts. And I'm thinking, hey, I've had a headache for an hour. I haven't said anything, right? So she didn't like that one either. And she started pushing. We didn't know what we were going to have. All of a sudden, my son started coming out, sir, and his dick kept on coming out and coming out. Okay, it was the umbilical cord, but fuck, I didn't know. All of a sudden, did you give me a pair of scissors, Mr. Solano? You're going to have to cut the cord off. Can we just let him have it 5 more minutes? He's never going to have a big dick like this ever again.
Now, the Zoom shows were, you know what? I did a bunch of Zoom shows, but only the reason I did was to try to remember my act and to work on new material.
But the thing is that you get no reaction.
There's
right?
none. No, there was like,
So
or
like,
you get laughs. You get laughs coming. You hear
you see this.
Yeah. Or people are doing this, I guess, on some Zoom shows. I don't know if you saw that.
I think so because if when they leave the microphone on, if somebody just goes, it goes green on them, right? So it cannot pick up everybody's laughter at the same time. I mean,
right.
So I was like, nah, man. If I want to be depressed, I just, I just watch Honey Boo Boo.
Dude, Zoom shows were tough enough, but you should see like an open mic Zoom show.
Oh, I've
Those
seen
are
them.
brutal.
I've seen them.
I mean, they're
like,
brutal because
wow.
they rely so much on. They constantly make comments that their jokes don't work.
Yeah, and the other one, that was not good, and you're like, and.
Was it just me? You hear that a lot. Just me? Okay.
I feel sorry for the open micers, and in Miami, it's funny because there's I don't know if you know her, Ellie Rodriguez.
I've heard of her.
She's the one that does used to do Ship to Shore,
Yeah.
With Carnival comedians, and every year we did something with them, and she's continued, and she's the one that really promotes like all the open micers, and she's going around town. I poke fun of her a little bit sometimes, but wherever they give her a venue, she brings the guys, and you just got to work, and then she creates, she gets a crowd. They have I think it's called the Cat Meow Lounge or something.
Yeah. And
it's a place where they have cats. So before the show, they have 15 minutes of cuddles with the cats.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. And then, and I made fun of her. And then it's getting bigger and bigger. It only sits like 20 people every week.
Right.
20 people get there or more. And these kids are building an act.
Yeah.
Then she chooses a couple of the guys at the end of the month, and she takes them to the Improv, to the big stage.
Yeah.
To Ship to Shore.
Yeah.
I've gone on almost every one of her shows. When my wife passed away,
yeah.
We buried her on February 8th, and she had one on February 9th, and I did the show honoring, her.
Right.
It was the hardest show I've ever had to do.
Yeah.
Because, it was so crazy.
Right.
But she was at the Improv. They give the locals a lot of opportunity. Nerdy Science is always there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of people. But Ellie is a great producer because she produces a lot of shows. Mm-hmm. And every week, you can see they went from 0 to about 15 different gigs around town. And a lot of them are starting to pay, they don't pay headliner money, but if you headline, they give you.
Well, dude, kudos to her, man. We were talking about this the other day. I booked a show at the Improv for a while. Mm-hmm. I don't know getting people out, man. I don't know how you do it.
And she gets them, and she gets it, and we even got almost a full room the day I did on February 9th, and it's always like that. So she's being very, successful, and I wish her a lot of success. She's really into comedy. And she quit her job to become a professional comedian. You know.
Oh, good for her. That's good.
So,
Fixing my.
anyway,
Go,
I
keep
guess I'm
working.
giving her a shout out, Ellie Rodriguez.
No, good for her.
Laugh with Ellie on freaking Instagram.
Dude, also we it was harder in LA because we were shut down so hard. We couldn't go out and do shows anywhere.
Yeah, I know, man.
You know what I mean?
That's one thing.
So the open micers and the comics. This I always think about this, dude. Can you these comics lost? If you were like a feature act or a middle act and COVID hit, you lost a year and a half of development.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
You lost a whole year and a half. Think about that. That would have sucked,
And,
right?
and what I liked about like I improvise a lot and stuff, so I would go and do set, and I start messing with the crowd and all that, and I'm doing 30 minutes, and then next thing I know, I look and I'm like, oh man, I'm at 25, I haven't done anything.
Yeah, right.
And then you try to put in the material, and people are like, no, go back. So
Yeah,
I started
yeah.
doing different. Then I started before I came out. I'm going, okay, no, I'm going to start doing some of my stuff,
Right.
to remember some of the bits and
Sure.
stuff, and then I'll mess with the crowd.
Right.
But
Yeah, because you can't do 25 minutes of crowd work and then go into material.
Right.
You can open up like 2 or 3 maybe.
Right.
But like I'll try to open with material, and then I'll usually open with material, hit the crowd a little bit early, and then do material for a
But
while.
the guys that can do improv are the guys that, we get ready faster, I believe.
Yeah, I think,
like
yeah.
you go off, you can be here, and then you go into the crowd, then you come back.
Yeah, you
here,
go back out. Yeah.
and that's the way to do it, man.
And it's not so hard to, like we were talking yesterday about, because once you do it so often and so good,
Yeah.
you're talking to the crowd, you're working them, and they lead you down a road, which leads you to a bit, and you go,
that's what you're looking for. You're
yeah,
looking for
and
that,
you go, well, then I'm going to do the bit about the truck or whatever, and then they're like, he's a genius, he just made that
oh
up.
My God, it's so easy to do it. It's so easy. Look, he just
Right.
talks.
Yeah, he just
Like,
talks.
it's 30 plus years of talking.
Well, that's how Robin Williams did that. A lot of that. His improv was based the same way, where he would try to go down, he would make it look like he was creating it.
Yeah.
I got a buddy of mine who was we're starting out around the same time, and he stopped doing stand-up. He got frustrated there are a lot of things he didn't like about it, and here's one of them. He saw Robin one night, Friday in San Francisco. He goes, he was so good he went and saw a second show. He goes, it's the same show. He goes, he's so mad. He goes, sucked all the magic away from it. And they go, but that's what we do. That's what you do.
And
That's
what's great about us here is that if you develop 5 different shows,
yeah.
and that's what most of us got. The guys that get here that are new,
Yeah.
they only have 1,
2 or 3
family,
shows, man.
and then they have 1 or 2, and I think that's one thing that they should explain to them before they come on, and say, look, you're going to be working with a lot of these veterans who have been around the cruise lines for a long time.
Yeah.
So don't get intimidated, because they get intimidated.
Yeah.
Then they put you up first night. They go and you go out there and you destroy the place.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, And they're not, what am I going to do? This guy just said he's going to do 5 different shows. I always tell them, do your stuff, dude. And then as you come and you work out here, take the time to write new bits.
Sure.
They don't know what's new and what's old.
Right.
So if you throw a new bit and he doesn't go over,
Right.
you continue with your stuff. They didn't know it was new.
Yeah.
Just because of another joke, he didn't go over.
Well,
That's
the
it,
key is you throw in a little bit of new stuff here and there. Like, hey, it's changed now because I feel comfortable enough to do something new
Right.
almost anywhere. But
Me
like
too,
a
me
bit,
too.
a bit that I've written, I'll usually try to work on something new around the 20-minute mark. But even then, like the newest bit I'm doing this airline thing, the safety video. But I do that within 4 minutes at the top of the show.
It's funny how you guys, you write everything? Like when you write
No, not everything, but every once in a while I come up with an idea. Like this safety bit I mention a lot. It's a written bit, but it's sensitive. It's got 22 beats in it. I have to hit each beat and I have to say every word. If I miss something, I'm gonna lose it.
I've never written, I always write the trigger words.
Right,
and then
right.
some of the guys who are the purists, that they write every comma and period. They even plan how many times.
Yeah, I
they're
don't
gonna
like
do
this. Even the safety video isn't all written out word for word, but there
Right.
are words I have to say
there's
in the
no
bit.
word. Yeah, whatever you hit, you have to hit.
You got to hit
yeah.
like orange neon vest. I got to say 3 times in the bit. If I don't, it loses the punch.
Exactly,
Right, exactly.
So that's why I like to just go up there and just, do it.
Right.
But it takes time. Al Romero used to say to me, one day you're going to learn how to think on stage. And I'm like, I'm always thinking.
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah, right.
You know, when you're on stage and you know that happens, you're doing a bit,
Yep.
and then you watch someone walk in,
Yep.
and you watching that person, or that bit is okay. I'm going to bring in this other one,
Yep.
and that's learning how to think on stage.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
some guy at the beginning, you are so concentrating on everything you're going to say.
Right.
Your set, whatever your set is, and I'm going to follow this, then I'm going to do cop, then I'm going to do this.
Right.
Right, and you don't have. You can't even get if anybody heckles you or something, he throws you off.
You're totally
right?
lost, yeah.
So after a while, like, and you see the veterans, like you can just get off that bit in the middle of it.
Right.
Like the one the other day when you're doing, I think it was the gorilla bit, and somebody said something, you went off, and then you came back to it and finished it. And
Came
boom.
back and finished it, yeah, right.
But a newer guy, anybody who's been in this business 5 years or less,
Right.
could not go back to that bit.
Right. Right. And also, like we were talking about, you need certain words, you need certain beat words.
Right.
You know, you're smart enough to know if you're in that situation, you come out of a bit, and you go, and you can make a decision process, because sometimes you're like, I can't go back to the bit because I lost this beat word.
Exactly.
And so there's no point to finish the bit.
Correct.
So why go back and force the bit, and then it's not funny, and then everyone's like,
Like when I was closing the show my last show last week.
yeah.
And I forgot. And I
was the
and I
best.
just gave the punchline. Anyway, he ate him, and he still got that.
Dude, I laughed so hard. You forgot the whole setup. You go, whatever. He ate him. And I'm like, I fell off
And
my
I kept
stool.
trying going back, and for the life of me, I could not remember it, man. You know, it was.
Oh, God, that was so funny. Yeah, and another thing that's cool, too, and I think especially now for two reasons. One, we're back after COVID.
Yeah.
Two, we're back on cruise ships after
I
COVID.
know.
And cruise ship crowds coming to see comedy are a lot different than club crowds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because they see us 5 times. So by the 5th show, they already know you.
Yeah.
And they also know the situation. They know you're just coming back. We're all starting up. So when you forget a bit, they're kind of like, yeah, you forgot a bit. Whatever. No one's like,
The next day they were going, so did you remember? We go, yeah. And then I would tell them, they goes, no, I laughed so much more. when
Yeah,
you
it was
forgot
because
it."
it's such a pure moment. Yeah, right. It's hilarious. It's the best. Yeah. But I've done that before where people come up and they go, do you remember the bit? Tell us the bit. Tell us the
But the
bit.
good thing about it is like you're comfortable there and you feel like you're performing in front of a lot, friends. Some of the guys also get intimidated. Oh, dude, this is your living room, right? These are your guests. They're coming to your house.
Right.
So act like it. You're the host of it, So you got to be relaxed, make them feel relaxed.
Right.
Make fun of yourself before you start pounding on them and stuff. And I think that's one thing I've learned with in Carnival all these years.
Right.
They gave us the opportunity to grow at the very beginning. I started back when they started the program, the fly-on program. So they didn't have it the way it is, that you come with the pressure of you have to perform right off the bat. You got to hit a homer, right?
Right.
And so over there, we were in the middle of the production shows for our family shows, so we only needed like 10 minutes. So you have to split. You come from clubs, you have a 45-minute set,
Right.
and then you have to split it into two different shows. So I
Right.
said, okay, what's clean? Let me do that for family show. And we used to do in the middle of the production. All of a sudden they would stop dancing and go, dice down, blackout. Ladies and gentlemen, the comedy of Jorge Solano. And then they would come out. You come out and you do 10 minutes. Go, okay, I'm going to have a midnight special.
Yeah.
Tonight, and then I'll be leaving tomorrow. And that's what we did. Like
Right.
like the fly-on acts do now, like Glenn, right? He
Yeah.
comes on, he does his magic, and then he leaves.
Right.
That usually not
Yeah.
now. We got to
With
stay.
COVID,
whatever,
right? It's a little different.
But so we had all those years I had all the years to build my family show, to get the extra show. Then I took a 10-year break when I became a cruise director.
Right.
And then when the Punchliner came, I came back as the brand manager.
Right.
And I had to work with guys like Percy Cruz,
Yeah.
who just hits it, and they put me on a victory
Yeah.
with him, and and then I had to start improvising more. And if I try to go to material, I would just eat it.
Yeah, right.
If I went after his shows, I would just hear him laughing in the back, right?
Yeah, right.
And then I said, no, man, this is not going to happen to me. And I started working hard, and
Yeah.
within months, I had my shows, and I was sharp. But it took me all that time. So
Right.
I've already experienced what it was to have a break like COVID. But as a cruise director, I would do shows, but then, R-rated show once in a while, but your persona and your image for the guest as a cruise director is a much cleaner one. So the office team really want me to go out there and go, well, you've been seeing me, I've been treating you.
And you can't be in a situation where the guests are like the cruise director said this. Right. Anybody gets upset in any way, shape, or form because they look at you in a different light.
Correct. Right. And then back in the day, that they could just write a letter and now it's like so many announcements and it's, hey, if you don't like R-rated comedy, this is not the place for you. This is not your venue. And people still complain, but now Carnival knows. Hey, look, did it say it was going to be R-rated? Yes. Yeah. Did it say that if you might be offended, you have to leave? Yes.
Right. Well, that's just one of the smartest things Carnival does. Is they on those adult shows they really push that envelope. They really go. They let the crowd know.
Right.
They go, hey, you guys got to know if you're offended, you got to go.
And the guys have to rate their shows. Is it an R-rated or what they call an X-rated when they think they're going to go a little bit more? Right. And if you see an X on it, it's. Yeah. Come on.
You gotta know.
It's going to be super adult.
And it's important that they because I always tell a story. Like, I have an aunt. She's great. I love my aunt. She's great. She just passed away like 2 weeks ago. She was my godmother. And she's one of those people that's she's very sweet, but she was kind of always right in a way. She would tell you a story and you couldn't correct her. And she tells me the story and she goes, I was on a cruise line and saw some comedy. It was when I was starting out. She goes, it was after about 4 years of being around, she goes, I don't know what it was, but George Lopez had something to do with it. And I go, that was Carnival. And she goes, no, it wasn't Carnival. I go, no, it was Carnival. She goes, no, it wasn't Carnival. And I'm like, all right, I can't argue with you. I don't know what to do. But she went to an adult show, and she goes, it was just dirty. And I go, well, it's an adult show. She goes, yeah, but this is too dirty. I go, yeah, but they're adult shows. Like, everybody's a different level of too dirty.
Right.
So you need to understand what your level is. You know what I mean? Know what too dirty is. There's not, if dirty's dirty, some people just, some people be like, out on George. If that's X, that's triple X stuff. And there's other guys that are just kind of dirty. But you can't look at the dirty show and go, that's too dirty. You know what I mean? You kind of can't do that.
Most people complain is that the older crowd is, they dropped the F-bomb. Why don't you put guys like, and then they start mentioning guys like Red Fox. He was always clean on TV.
And they're wrong. You're like, wait, he was the dirtiest guy ever. His albums, you know what I mean? My mom listened to his stuff.
And then, they mention all these other older.
Well, Bob Saget, too. They'll mention Saget.
Oh, my God.
When he had that big thing when he was on the show. Oh, and they go, he's such a clean, pure. I go, you ever seen his stand-up? It's filthy.
I know, filthy. Yeah. He was considered one of the filthiest.
He was absolutely one of the filthiest. He did when they did the Aristocrats. He did a whole Aristocrats.
Yeah. And he had a story where I think they had some kids at his show.
Yes. Yeah. And the mom showed up and she's like, I can't. He's
can't be Bob Saget.
He goes, I can't tell you. I don't know how to advertise anymore that it's going to be an adult show. And parents would still show up with kids.
That's what I find weird. Like you go to a show and then you see and they've already seen your R-rated version, your adult version, and they come to see the second one or so, and they bring their kids, and you're like, I'm sorry, I won't do it. Like if there's a little kid or something that, you have to be 18 or over.
Right.
Simple as that.
Right.
And there's no exceptions. But people get upset. Well, my kid is 2 years old. He already hears these words. Well, I don't want him to learn anything from me.
Yeah.
If the kid starts cursing with an accent, oh, well.
When did you turn Colombian? Hey, Tommy O'Ryan, why do you sound like a Colombian trafficking drugs across the border right now?
Exactly. So I'm like, no, I'm sorry. Oh, they get all upset. I'm going to go and complain. I'm going to make sure. That's another thing. I'm going to make sure they fire you. It's funny how people think that they can go and tell a company what to do with the people that work for them.
Well, but that happens more often than not now in this cancel culture process.
So now it's like, I want to make sure they fire, this. I'm like, do you understand that I do have a family, and just because you didn't like me today, there was a lot of other people that liked me.
Yeah, there's a whole room full of people that enjoyed the show.
And now you want to go and you feel entitled to ask the company to fire me.
Yeah.
And
who are you to be able to take money out of my family's?
Exactly. Yeah. So they don't think about any of that. They just think about how right they are and how they paid.
Well, a lot of the cancel culture crap is that way. Who are you to tell someone they can't get a job or you shouldn't watch Yeah, like
Right.
even when that girl got fired from Star Wars recently, you're like, she was on The Mandalorian and she was right wing. A lot of times it's political now too.
Right,
If you're really hard right, you get canceled, and you're like, well, just if you don't believe their views, then don't listen to them and don't agree with them. You don't
That's
have to force everyone to be like you are.
That's why I don't like to, like, on my social media, I never talk about politics. I never discuss any of that. I just
Yeah,
want people
smart.
to
I
go
used to
into
do it, dude. I
my
used to do it all
social
the time.
media and say, oh man, let's see what he posts today. Something funny,
Right.
something, I just want them to laugh. I don't want them to go on and all of a sudden there's this whole discussion about who wants this president, who wants that thing, who did what. Man, and I always tell people, sometimes I say something and they turn it into a political conversation. I just call them right on there. I said, if you guys want to argue about this, you go to your page. You try to hijack my post. This is not going to happen. I am going to get delete this, and I'm going to block both of you. And then I always get like a private message. Sorry, bro. He started it, kind of thing. I don't want to hear it. If I ever see that again, and I have to block a few.
See,
people.
I just let people fight on my page. It happens all the time. I got a lot of friends I grew up with a lot of friends that are conservative, and I live in LA, so it's all liberal. So especially during the Hillary elections and all that, Bernie Sanders.
You want to argue? You want to have someone to argue with? Go on Al Romero's page.
I love her. Yeah, he's got no problem throwing down a
Oh,
comment.
dude! And then I write to him. He goes, "Dude, I just do it for fun." I go, no, bro. I can see what you say.
But there's some venom behind those posts, man.
Definitely, man. He's like the things he says, man. And I'm like, bro. And then there's people that go, and they attack his comedy.
Yeah.
That's why you're not funny. And all this. And then I write to him, dude, you're not funny not because of your politics. You're just not funny.
Has nothing to do with your political beliefs.
It's funny when he was a headliner. He's like, I don't know, 150 years old or something.
Yeah,
like
150,
that.
149, I think. He just had a birthday, 149.
and he was headlining already when I wanted to get into comedy. So I go there on I think it was my 28th birthday, 27th birthday, and we wanted to go, and we went to what's the place in Hollywood, and Al Romero is headlining. Man, we enjoyed it so much, and I'm like, this is what I want to do. So I talked to him after. He goes, yeah, man, just start doing it. And at that time, Coconuts was opening up in Miami at the Marriott.
All right.
So I started open micing and everything. And
Jeez,
then
you
next
are
thing,
old.
Yeah. And then I started. I became the manager of the club, and I also started being the MC. Mm-hmm. So I started working with Al a lot more. And
right.
I got to know him. So I always tell the story whenever I work with him. I go, ladies and gentlemen, he's the one that inspired me to do comedy. Because when I first saw him and I looked at him and I go, look, if he can do it, anybody can. I go, just put anybody up there.
Yeah,
if he gets those laughs, I can do
this
it.
This guy can get away with it.
He goes, man, and he gets up there and goes, thank you so much, Solano. Why don't you just go back and clean my cabin again? He's awesome, dude. The greatest thing in the world, man, was I got to hang out with my entire family. And I also have a grandson. His name is CJ. He's a character. He's always in trouble. And you can tell he's my grandson and he has my genes and shit because he's fucked up in the head, just like Grandpa. True story. We watching the news. Him and I were watching the news. Newscaster says that 25% of the women in America are on mental illness medicine. He looks at me and goes, Grandpa, that means that 75% are walking around untreated. 8 years old, you already fucking know what women are all about. We'll tell you a couple of true stories before I go, because I really have to fucking move a lot of luggage tonight. We're hanging out, and my grandson loves to go everywhere with me, and he gets in trouble, and because he's a little shit, right? So like he got suspended from school for 2 weeks and shit like that, right? But and my wife goes to me, and my daughter and everything. They always tell me, Dad, please don't curse in front of CJ, because he likes to, he likes to just do whatever you do, And I'm like, well, I'm gonna try, but he wants to be with me everywhere, and I I'm vocal, so I'm getting in the car. He gets in the car. He's my my co-pilot and shit. And I'm driving in the highway in Miami, and they've been fixing the streets in Miami since the Flintstones fucking started, and so you get a little bit of road rage, and Leslie cuts me off, and I'm like, you, he looks at me and goes, fucking bitch, Grandpa, fucking bitch. I'm like, bro, don't say that shit, man. You're gonna get me in trouble again. It's a story, man.
I've seen him forever.
It's so good. I mean, now we got more. Before we didn't have that many Latin comics, but now we got like
There's a lot.
Jorge, he's great. I like working with a lot of the guys.
Yeah.
So, but the mix that we have here is excellent.
Yeah, dude. Especially this run is different. You got Paul, you, Eddie,
two
and
white dudes, a brother, and a Colombian.
Yeah, dude. There's something for everybody on this shit.
It's funny how they put the white dudes up front and they left the minorities for the back, but that's okay.
Well, I didn't have any input on that, but I heard Paul complained. Paul said something about
Joe Biden. He gets upset when every time I see him up there. Hey, Mr. President. He goes, bro. Doesn't he look like Joe Biden?
He's got to embrace that. He's got to do a thing on stage about it. It would get a huge laugh, especially on these ships. The ships lean right. There's a lot more Republicans on these ships than there are.
And I had not seen. Is that why we're?
That's exactly what we're doing to the right now.
No
What's it called? Listing. We're listing to the right. We're listing to the right.
Eddie was another one that I enjoyed lunch yesterday.
Dude, Eddie's another guy, dude. Eddie's a guy you get worked up like that.
Dude, I do.
He's a guy you get him, and you know what? You're like a little brother.
I know.
You're like the guy you poke and then you just sit back and you watch him go.
He's like, wow.
Yeah, Eddie's like, wow. It starts with wow. And then it turns into, let me tell you something. Look, I just want to be clear. I just want to be clear.
The best thing was we were at brunch, right? The first day you didn't go, and then he goes to me. He didn't bring any money, so I
came in late. Was that the day you came in late?
And then I said, "Don't worry, brother. I'll cover it." He goes, "No, just let me have 5. I'll pay you in an hour." I go, "Bro, you're not gonna pay me in an hour." So I took him just to.
Right.
So the whole week goes by. We go back to the brunch.
Oh, that's when I was there. That's where because he walks in with the $50 or whatever.
I knew you were gonna do. Here's $10. And I'm like,
we threw down $40.
Yeah, I'm like, dude,
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Don't try to exaggerate here. Take 20 back. No. I go, you're trying to show off. You still owed me $5 for over a week. So this is the interest, and I kept the $10.
That's so funny. That's great.
And yesterday, with the I like to eat heat and all that, so I gave him the habanero.
Oh yeah, right.
I'm like, he goes, oh no, I just take a little piece. Oh,
yeah.
that
not that much heat. Not real heat. You look at a Colombian and say like heat. You better be prepared for.
And he's so happy. His wife is gonna have the kids and everything.
Twins, and he's semi-retiring.
And he's always with his wife. Look, honey, look.
Dude, he was so funny. We're having lunch. Look how they're treating me. Like he's a victim. By the way, 6'3", 300-pound black man, giant ex-cop, maybe the toughest guy in the whole ship right now. Look what they're doing to me. Jerk.
I love him.
Did you hear him talking to the cat yesterday during lunch? Hey, Mr. Buggles. Mr. Buggles is daddy. It's daddy. It's daddy.
He's a teddy bear, man.
He really is, man. He's the sweetest guy ever.
And Paul is so mellow. And who would think he has that much energy on stage?
Dude, it blew me away the first time I saw him. He goes up there. I was expecting Stanley Ullman. He does the dance and the shuffle and the thing, and he's so energetic through the whole show.
And very positive.
Yeah.
So you remember that we had a psychologist last week. Hey, the guy with the beard, and I told him it's nice to see the Amish are cruising.
Yes, yeah, right.
So
even the Amish after COVID are like, I'm going out and living. Yeah.
So he goes. So we met him at the coffee shop, and he's telling Paul how he's positive and how everything. And then he looks at me, and goes, "You need therapy."
Oh, really?
He goes, you need therapy. Yeah. No, I'm serious.
Yeah, you need some help. Here's my card. I have some friends. I don't want to treat you. I don't want to talk to you. I couldn't handle you. But
and then the dude that blew our minds now was with Glenn, man. You're gonna have one. It's just Glenn came out. I didn't know. You meet somebody for the first time. You don't know how the guy's super cool. Yeah. And then he does that great show. Yeah. Inspirational.
Yeah, dude. Our conversation here for an hour was amazing.
And the thing with him was when he first came out and he had the pink shoes. I go to Eddie. pink shoes. I'm gonna bust him about it. And then he explains about the whole
Now
thing.
you feel like
Oh my God! I
mom
feel
had
like,
breast
oh my
cancer.
God.
Now I'm such an asshole.
Dude, I'm like, oh damn it, like.
It's good you feel like crap for even thinking it.
And then he's going, oh wow, I'm so happy. That's what you get. That's what you get. I'm like, shut
I
up.
didn't know that, dude. I wasn't there for that. That's hilarious. He flips
like,
it right
dude,
back around on you, dude. Just that, oh, wow, is powerful for me.
I
Oh,
go,
wow.
dude,
How you feel
so
now,
bad.
Solano? How you feel now?
And then,
oh, wow.
And then when he's asking if somebody speaks Spanish, no one speaks Spanish. And Eddie's going behind me. And then he goes, he gives kudos to you. Hey, you saw Lenny, you saw Paul, you see Eddie, and my friend.
The other guy. Solano. That's the best.
He was great, man.
Yeah.
Great show.
Yeah. No, his show is great. We talked.
That puzzle thing.
Dude, he's got such a positive message. It was really great talking. Well, we pointed this out too. I think one of the things that I noticed now, especially that we're back on ships and we're back out after COVID, I think a lot more, especially entertainers, there's a lot more positive.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more.
Camaraderie.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
It, you know why? Because
because we had our
so many
lives
years
sucked
on
from
the
us.
ship,
Yeah.
we get dark.
Yeah.
And that's what I had. I got
Yeah.
dark. I didn't go to the shows. I didn't go and see anybody's show. I just went my cabin
Yeah.
to the show, came back, went out to eat, and then, hey, you want to meet at the port? Yeah, I would go and meet at the port. And that was my on my night off, I wouldn't go out for nothing, right?
Right.
I was having a lot of things, problems, and people ill in the family and all this stuff. And then 18 months, I got to rebuild, relationships with my daughters and, with the ex and all that, even though that Sophie and my son are across in New Zealand and I'm not able to see them until they reopen the borders almost. They say now in the middle of 2022, like my son was going last night, son, Dad, I haven't seen you in almost 2 years. He goes,
dude,
I just want to hug you. And he breaks my heart.
Yeah.
But that was what's going on. And now when I said to Sophie, I said, look, I am going to live like I used to do at the beginning. I'm going to go out. The guys, I bet you everybody's going to want to go out. We're going to the shows.
Yeah.
We go see each other's show. We
Yeah.
get together for dinner.
Dinners and stuff. Yeah, right.
It's such a different vibe.
Right.
I think we're all happy to just be out there and be able to hang out with other people.
Yeah.
Other than just staying at home,
Yeah.
And it's good when you see your friends. I'm making new friends also. Quite a bunch of new people and stuff, but it's great.
Well,
man.
one of the cool things too, I think, is besides the fact we're back or we're traveling or hanging out again, I always have a better time when I'm hanging with other comics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just there's a mindset, there's a way we think and talk and hang out. Sometimes we get a little dark with each other, joking wise.
Right.
And during COVID, we didn't have any of that.
No.
That's what we missed. We were with family, which is great.
And then,
but,
I mean,
well, you weren't. I'm saying,
look who's here. Look who's here coming tomorrow. Stanley Ullman.
Yeah, right.
I mean, if he's dark still, then I don't know what.
Yeah,
that's
COVID can't break Stanley,
right? I mean, but that guy is great to hang
Yeah.
out with him. He drinks a lot of coffee.
Like a machine.
Yeah, but he, it would be great to see him again.
He's also really sweet because he doesn't drink
Real
liquor.
sweet guy.
But what he used to do is every time we worked together, we'd go to the crew bar. He'd go hang out even though he doesn't drink.
Oh, I know.
And I'd go to my cabin, drop something off, and he'd go. He'd ask you the first day, "What are you drinking?" I go, "I'll do a vodka soda or whatever." And you come down, and you have a drink for you, drinking a pop. He'd be waiting. He'd buy you a drink. He did it every day. He's just a really nice. Another
Really
guy's a really
nice
nice
guy.
guy. But yeah, he's a comic. You hang with comics. I can hang with comics all the time.
Yeah.
And that was completely gone during COVID. We didn't have those functions where you hung out with 6 comics or 4 comics.
Oh, I know.
You know.
I don't know who I'm working with on the horizon, but I'm looking forward to it. I hope I'm working with anybody except Al Romero. But other than that, I will be more than happy.
Dude, I love you because you take shots at Al all the time, everywhere. He's not even around.
What about Russ Nagel? Russ
Nagel.
Russ goes at it with me whenever there's a post, and he goes, "Oh, I didn't know Mexicans," and then I respond something. He goes, then he tries to message me, "Dude, can you just let me win once?" No, never. Or he throws it out. And he goes, "Okay, that's all I had." And I love Russ.
He's a great guy. He's awesome. Yeah. He's on the Panorama. He's getting off the Panorama this week.
No, I know.
Yeah, I checked. I talked to Jason Blanchard, who's on the Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
So, and I'll just miss him on the Vista. I got the Vista coming up a couple of different times.
Oh, you know who's
So-
there? Erin. He's the cruise director.
Yeah,
there.
I know. She just went back there after she left the office.
She's awesome.
I love Erin. She's the best. Yeah, that's cool. And she's another one. Well, you've been around forever, but she's another one I remember when she was a social host.
Yeah,
or an
me
entertainment
too.
host. A lot of these guys, Leon. You know, I'm at the point now where all these cruise directors I knew when they were kids. You know,
Was that great with Leon last night?
that was the best. That was a great line.
I mean,
because you know he wears a captain's outfit. Like he walks around one night and wears a captain's outfit. So he walks in the George's show with the captain's outfit.
And I'm like, I don't know if that's the captain or that's somebody trying to be one of the village people.
Yeah,
And I
right.
didn't realize that he was just going to storm
Yeah,
the
he walked
stage.
right up to the stage and walked up on the stage. It was hilarious. It was very funny.
It's like, he goes, I loved it. I'm
Yeah,
like,
he's
all right,
great.
bro.
Yeah, he's been great. Because he watched one of my shows from the back corner, and I wanted to say something about it, but I was in the middle of a bit, and I turned around and he was gone.
He's a very very positive. I like his.
He's
the way
glad. He's
he
happy to
is,
be
the
back
way
too,
he,
man. Yeah.
He MCs the shows and everything.
Yeah.
Promotes everything.
Well, he said, you know what's really cool? What he does all the time is he calls people family on the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
Hello,
it's a brilliant idea.
Carnival, yeah.
Hi, Carnival family. Hi, family. That's really cool. I think that's smart. It's good for everybody. And you know, not just the entertainers. Like a lot of these people, we've talked about this a little bit on the other shows. Everybody's back to cruising. These people wanted to come back to cruising. Everybody on these ships now, most of them have been dying to get back on a ship. You know what I mean?
And you know what, man? Comedy has not missed a beat.
Yeah.
All the shows are packed.
Yeah, right. They're great. Yeah, and we talked a little bit about like I'm real good on like I wrote a bunch of stuff while I was gone. I do a little bit of stuff about COVID, a little bit of stuff about the quarantine, and then get out of it. Like I don't want to do
some stuff about. I got some stuff about the vaccine.
Yeah.
Depending how they're swinging tonight, I might throw it out there. But it's just
Yeah.
making fun of the people who saying that, they don't know what they're putting in their bodies and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But and I'm like, okay, let me see. I might just do it one more time on land, just to
Yeah.
But
Well, I
it's
do the
nothing
joke
bad.
now.
I don't make
I do. My joke is I get the one. I got buddies. I do the thing. I got family anti-vaxxers, and my joke is my friends are like, aren't you worried about what you're putting in your body? I'm like, I was a road comic for 20 years. I have smoked, snorted, and sucked more chemicals in my body. The vaccine should be afraid to come in me. Yeah,
exactly.
Right. Yeah.
And I say, like, look at that in the early days. I did all the we did all kinds of drugs. The 80s. You guys did ecstasy. The millennials or whatever.
Yeah, they did the Molly or whatever.
It's like you guys you eating Tide Pods, for God. Tide Pods. You're eating detergent and putting Clorox on your body. And ladies, you worried about what you're putting in your body. Take a look at what's sitting next to you.
Yeah.
And you still, and I do all of that.
Right,
and then
right.
I go, okay, so what am I going to worry about? I'm going to be worried about that I'm going to get something else is going to grow. Like I already got big tits, a fat stomach, no ass. What, I'm going to get an extra testicle? Great. Now I'm going to have 4.
That's great. Dude, that's very funny.
That's the punchline right
Yeah.
there. Boom. And but it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, we grew up. We all have that little mark from.
I got it. Yeah, I got the old booster mark or whatever it is. Yeah.
And then nobody worried about what are you putting in my kid's body.
Yeah.
And then people are getting sick or whatever, and everything is fake. Oh, there's more people dying with the vaccine. You know what? I know I got vaccinated. I'm going to get the booster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And if something happens to me 3 days later, maybe it was my time to go.
Well, I keep hearing these. Yeah, right. I keep hearing these stories. I have friends who are anti-vaxxers, and they keep telling me these stories about people dying from the vaccine or getting the vaccine. But they're the only ones I'm hearing those stories from. You know what I mean? I don't. And they're weird stories. It's
I
like,
go to this cafeteria. I've been going there since the pandemic started, and we go there every day. So my daughter and I take her all the time, and then there was this guy there. Every day he was proud that he wasn't vaccinated. His wife wasn't vaccinated. His kids weren't vaccinated. Okay, so a couple months ago, his wife got COVID. Okay, 42 years old, gets COVID, and takes her like not even a month. She passes away.
Oh,
right.
God. Okay.
So then his son, 19-year-old, got it. Also, in less than 2 weeks, he's gone.
Oh my God.
He walks in, right, and then he wants pity from everybody. I know that I'm going to sound like an asshole,
Right.
but I have no pity for him.
Yeah.
Because you know what? It was his fault.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the wife wanted to get vaccinated at one time, and he said no. So now he is still going around walking with no mask. He says it doesn't matter. I say, bro, you know what? Please don't talk to me anymore.
Right.
You want pity from me? I want you to go home. And I said that, and a couple of people told me, you should have said, go home and do a lot of soul searching.
Yeah.
And when you're sitting there with no family, okay?
Yeah.
Take a look and think about it. Whose fault is it?
Yeah.
And he goes like, well, I don't need that. I said, I'm not giving you a lecture, but please don't talk to me anymore. Don't address me anymore. I'm upset.
Yeah.
I'm angry that you lost your family because they could have been still around.
They could have been
Well,
spared.
how do you know? I go, a lot of us are vaccinated.
Yeah.
None of us. And then another old man that he just recovered from it. He
Yeah.
goes, I was vaccinated. I go, no, let's not start that because we're going to start into, and then my breakfast is going to, and the guy left. And then the girl at the cafeteria, I think you were a little bit harsh. I said, I didn't say I was happy his family. I said that he should soul search and say, dude, maybe I made the wrong move.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to think about it. If they would have had a chance, if they would have been vaccinated, maybe they would have had a better chance of living.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, plus I don't understand what statement you're making by not getting the vaccine. You know what I mean? You're really rolling your dice there with, we were talking about this yesterday too. The people don't get vaccinated and then they find out they can't do this or they can't do that or they get to pay for a test and they're
what's a company that just came out with a 5 is like now they're starting to come up with the medicines like, okay, you get COVID, they give you like when you have a bad flu, they give you like a treatment.
It's
like like a Z-Pack.
Z-Pack, right.
So
they're eventually you knew they were going to do that. Eventually they're going to come out with something.
It's not what an endemic, right? Is that what it is? It's always going to be around.
Yeah.
But in like we get vaccinated for the flu. I fought the flu shot forever. You remember when I got you were there with me when I got quarantined because I had the influenza that I got there and I thought I was
they were supposed to
and you're like, dude, you're not going to go. No, man, I sat by the infirmary from 9:00 in the morning even though I knew they were going to open at 3. I could not go back. The doctor comes in, he goes, hey man, we've been having a wave of the flu,
right?
And I'm like, oh man. He goes, I don't think you have it. And then the girl came in mask and everything, and they quarantined me in my cabin. And you would call me, go, hey bro, you need anything? And I'm like,
I
remember that? Yeah, man, I was sick. Sick
wasn't
for a
that
week.
the one that I got quarantined earlier that week because of the stomach thing? So one night you did all the shows, and then later I did all the shows.
No, there was no shows.
All right,
that night.
Oh, right, okay, right. No, that's funny.
But it was fun, man. I mean, but again, now I'm doing the flu shot because I don't want to get that flu again.
Yeah, plus I don't want to get sick and have to go to a hospital or go to a doctor. You know what I mean? So I try to avoid that situation.
And nowadays, if you have a little bit, if you don't feel good or if you don't, then you go to the infirmary. They'll quarantine you.
No, they don't mess around. Well, that's like with the stomach
thing. You
thing.
blink 3 times?
Yeah, right. That's why when you sneeze in public or something like that, you go, achoo. What?
Dude,
I'm good.
You don't want to do
good.
that on an airplane.
Yeah, right.
So I got...
Yeah.
Sometimes you eat some, and I ate it was like
and
a
you get stuck
crack,
in it.
and doing it, and I couldn't, and I didn't want to cough, right? And I'm like,
you can feel it. You're like trying to cough under your breath.
And then so I go to the bathroom.
You're flushing the toilet, trying to
go. I come in, I'm like, and then I come in, I sit down, and I'm laughing, and I started talking to the guy sitting next to me. I go, bro, I had the crack. He goes, I noticed that. I go, it happens to me too. I go, you didn't want to cough, did you? I go,
yeah, everybody knows.
Because people
start
going,
walking around.
People start going,
yeah, why is he coughing?
God,
why is he coughing? Yeah, right. No, I hear you.
It's hilarious, man.
Yeah.
It's just so many things. Our lives have changed so much, and we're adjusting to it.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to be wearing masks for the rest of our lives.
I hope not, but I'll wear it for now, man. I'll wear them.
It's mostly to protect the other people.
Yeah, I can't believe I still forget it to this day. Like 9 times out of 10, I'll walk out this cabin and I go, "Damn it!" I come back.
You know
and
what
get
I
my
have on my whenever I take with my lanyard, I put him on
smart.
my keys.
I do when I leave the house at home. I wear cargo, so I have them in the pocket of every pair of pants everywhere. You know what I mean? I got them in the car. You know what I mean? Like at home, I got a whole bunch in the car.
I change them every day, especially now doing the shows. They get all sweaty. I'm gonna sit there and hanging.
Yeah.
They're
Well, I
very
order
expensive.
especially when I started
ordered a
traveling.
bag,
I
like
got a whole
50,
bunch of them. Yeah, I bring them with me. I got a whole bunch. Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah,
and I
that's the
just
only
got
way.
one from today from the MSA.
Yeah.
The cool one that Joe Biden has.
Yeah.
And you can watch those. And I'm gonna look for him. He'll be eating lunch when we go up.
Yeah. He was supposed to be here to do the show, but I'm thinking I was going to see if he wants to eat first, and then maybe we can do the show after because I'm hungry. I can't.
I love that guy, man.
He's got a lot of
It's
energy.
been fun, man. I hope we get to work together again soon.
Yeah, this was great, man. This was a great week. It was way more fun than I thought it would be.
Me too,
It's been
me
a long
too.
time, and we've been hanging out all week, and
You know?
I love, dude. I've never laughed harder than when I'm hanging out with other comics. It's just, you know what I mean? It's just it's
we
the
got
best.
no filter with each other.
That's the best thing is like
It's so bad.
sometimes people will sit with comics and you got to be careful because we'll get dark. We'll get dark.
And
I mean,
whatever you got on somebody.
Yeah, a lot of ball busting.
Don't let them have anything on you, man, because they will just.
And all the little wow.
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 Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Eddie, wow. Did you interview him?
Yeah, he's done. Paul's the last guy I got to do, and I'm all set. I'm going to tape your show tonight. I taped your show last night, but I'll tape tonight's show too. And we'll go from there, and then I'll tape Paul. But dude, let's wrap this up. You got social media stuff you want to tag?
Yeah,
What do you want to do?
I am on what is it? In Instagram is comedian125.
Okay.
And then on
Are you incognito?
I don't know. I
How many George Solanos are there? Well,
there's
actually,
a bunch of George
Yeah,
Solano,
there's probably a lot.
You know, I don't know if that was my dad going around, or, but there's a lot of guys that look like me, and I'm like, Dad, you know. And then George Jorge Solano Solano comedian on Facebook.
Okay.
And you know, if you hit me up, and like I said, I don't post nothing political, nothing about vaccines, none of that. I leave that up to your own personal pages. I just want you guys to have something funny to wake up to, man.
That's smart. That's good. All right, buddy.
All right, bro.
Thank
Thanks
you,
a
man.
lot,
Thanks for being here, man.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Let me finish cleaning your cabin.
Yeah.